What is going on, everyone? My name's Boit, and I'm back with some more Age of Mythology, the Titans action, spawning in the right side of the map in the blue color, playing as Hades. His name is Nullus. Nullus the Great, Nullus the Wise, Nullus the playing as Hades. His opponent today, playing in the red color as the god Odin. His name is Suppe. Suppe, the equally wise, but very bald like myself, but attractive as well. We see Suppe here starting off with the modern build, the modern Odin build. Absolutely love this one here from Odin, as we do see the elk here. Actually, we're not going to be seeing Suppe go for these elk with a great hunt here. A little bit surprised to see that. I know that you don't quite get the food. You only get 450 food here if you great hunt the elk. So we do see over here the caribou. So, I mean, it makes sense, but he's gonna be hating himself here for casting that great hunt straight away. As we do see a dwarf coming through here for Suppe. So the reason why I don't hate great hunt on your starting elk here as Odin when you've only got 450, you also get goats you get more goats from it, but also you get enough food in your main base to kind of get to the classical age without having to move to a second hunt location here. Suppe's scouting around. He's finding a lot of hunt on this map. He's going to be really happy with the map that he has, and he's going to be super kicking himself for great hunting this one, especially with the hunt back here. He could have great hunted that. It's super close to this hunt as well, and he would have been able to eat here for days without any pressure. Right now, Nullus over here onto this hunt. He's moving up onto this location as well. He's almost finished up with his hunt, his main base, not eating this elk for some reason here. I'm a bit surprised to see that one. I wonder what the exact plan is here, but this is an interesting map. It is competitive, mega random. And I love this map. I just think this is such a fun map to play on. You just don't know what you're going to get. You can't come into it with any real strategy. You've got to just outplay your opponent as best as you possibly can. We do see that the big fat cliff here in the middle with trees to boot is going to make it quite difficult to get some spicy raids coming through. Defending Ragnarok here is going to be a very, very valid strategy. Rushing on this map is going to be really, really tough as well. As we see the temple coming up for Suppe. He does have it's not a bad gold mine. He's got a sentry tower. He's got a forest to defend it. But Suppe has decided not to build in his main base, instead building right next to the relic here. He wants the tail of Cerberus. And Suppe is one of the players here. He really likes this relic. He's got a crazy video of him playing Kronos and utilizing the Argus with this relic, having a lot of fun. But this relic as Odin, you're going to be able to get yourself a lot of value out of Fire Giant, a lot of value out of the Frost Giant as well. Really, really fun. Another relic over here, the Mithril Horseshoes, plus 10% cavalry move speed bonus there. Another really, really big relic. We'll see if Suppe is going to be able to grab that one at any point here as a final villager. Looks like it'll be coming out for Suppe. No, he's going to be grabbing himself the dwarf and going up a little bit later. Nullus, on the other hand, gets a pretty clean 430 here. I say this once, I say it a million times. Hades and Greek in general. If you have a good secondary hunt spot, if your starting hunt spot isn't that good, you can get a 416. If you want a 416, you can get a 416. Heimdall. What is Suppe thinking? I don't understand this Heimdall in the slightest. I think Suppe is just trying to have some fun here. I'm gonna try and understand. I can't understand this Heimdall. He's gonna have to show us why Heimdall here. I'll tell you why Freya is really good in this matchup. Freya is really good in this matchup because you get Thundering Hooves, and Thundering Hooves is vitally important against Hades. Vitally important. The other thing is, there's this relic over here, the Mithril Horseshoes, which Suppe has now spotted. He's going to need to walk over there. He's now walking over there. He's going to have Thundering Hooves, plus he's going to have that relic, the Mythical Horseshoes, which means he can have 7.2, 7.3 speed raiding cavalry. Absolutely huge. Toskapos being annoying here. I mean, you can Alt-S an Ox cart, I'm pretty sure. And he does Alt-S that Ox cart for the time being. And we are seeing a Town Center coming up. A Town Center also coming up for Nullus as well. This is the strangest Odin versus Hades war I've ever seen. We've got Suppe going for a fast second Town Center. We've got Nullus going for a fast second Town Center, naked fast second Town Center with no heroes out. We do have the Minotaur moving into the main base here. Where's the Einherjar? The Einherjar, I don't understand. I just simply put, do not understand. The Minotaur going to come in and get value for the first time ever. The first time ever, this Minotaur is going to get value. Suppe is playing Ring Around the Rosie here with his dwarf. You just see. Just send to her so over. Okay, send to her so. All right. The thing is that Nullus kind of knows that he can do this because there's no Valkyrie. What was that? Okay, Sentinels comes down. Because there's no Valkyrie, he knows he can just send the Minotaur in and get some value because the Ursa have only got 4.2 speed. So he's like, because you don't have Valkyrie, there's no counter to this. As he does grab that relic as well. The Town Center is now up. There's tons and tons of hunt on this map as the Ajax coming through. And what is Suppe's next play? 2 Town Center fast heroic now to counter the 2 Town Center of Nullus. I guess that makes some sense. The Chiron is going to be the tough unit to kill here because it's going to be able to raid everywhere on the map here very, very easily as the villagers continuing to hunt over on this location there. Ajax and Chiron looking to cause some problems as this villager here almost going down. It will go down to a Chiron. It's going to go down to the Chiron. There's no way Nullus doesn't click on that villager and just go, why is that villager on 2 HP? No, apparently not. Okay, there we go. Dead villager. All right, Longhouse coming down here for Suppe, deciding no crazy fast heroic is going to be possible here. More walls coming down for Suppe and Nullus. I think you've got to be absolutely crazy to think you can win a boom war here against Hades because it's just going to go late game and Nullus is just going to be able to spam upgrades and get to the Mythic Age here and just be in a really good position. He's going to be in a really good position. I don't know what Suppe's plan is. Because the other thing is Suppe needs to get out. Like, he doesn't need to get out that many raiding cavalry, but he needs to get out enough to kill off these units. And I would love to have seen a wall get thrown up here as well. As the heroes coming through here, going to be greeting these 3 Hersa on this position here. As the raiding cavalry comes through, going to start whacking down the Chiron, getting a lot of good damage done onto that Chiron there. Remember that Odin does get the free healing of his units as the villagers getting pulled off of that wood over there. Moving over onto this location, the villagers over here are on top of the wood line here as well instead of hunting their boars on that position. As we see Nullus grabbing himself a 3rd town center. Suppe can't really do a whole lot to stop that. As he does send his Hersa over here, there are a handful of military buildings coming down for Nullus as well in his main base. Nice and defensive here. He's building the building walls here beautifully. As we do see some villagers also coming over onto this position as both of the Ravens. He's like doubly saying, I'm coming for you. What are you going to do to stop me? We do see a couple of actual military units coming out here as Suppe is firmly staying in the classical age here as the Chiron still getting chased down by the 3 raiding cavalry. It looks like the units will be able to retreat back as Suppe, he's now pushing in, taking this location out as best as he possibly can. Doesn't want to be letting the Nullus Hades get a 2nd town center as 1 Hersa does go down. 2 villagers going down as the damage coming through here nicely. The raiding cavalry getting targeted down. We'll see if Suppe's going to be able to micro this one a little bit as he's sending some throwing axemen through here to get the damage done. Another villager going to be getting taken out here. Nullus is getting hurt quite a bit. This is a really, really big here for Suppe in this game. Now we're going to start seeing some Toxotes coming through and Nullus has to abandon this town center from going up for the time being as a military academy coming through here. Suppe's getting some good damage damage done. Remember, oh, can he get the building down? He can get the building down, but the villagers have snuck through. He didn't get that one wedged in to the wood line there. Nullus gets very, very lucky, as that could have been almost game ending there. Undermine onto that watchtower as well, trying to hit the military academy as well, but not quite able to make that work, as the town center has been claimed. Soup's getting a lot of resources in the bank. He doesn't, I don't see him with an armory just yet. I don't see him where he's building houses either in his main base, as the raiding cavalry is swinging around onto this position as the units coming over here for Nullus to take this fight. I do believe that the Odin army at this point is going to be able to win this. We see medium infantry and medium cavalry coming through at the same time. Now, here's the thing. Soup at this point could really do with simply just going to the heroic age, but Soup loves staying in the classical age. He loves staying in the classical age way too much. We see safeguard coming through here for Soup. I'm not sure exactly what the plan is there, other than the walls here. And now the Heimdall has finally started making sense to me. I get it. I don't know if I agree with it, because I still think the Thundering Hooves is better, but I understand it. The whole point of Heimdall here is that Soup thinks this game is unwinnable before the late game, and he wants to give himself an advantage in the late game, utilizing safeguard to make that happen. You do see a Chiron getting taken down. The raiding cavalry have managed to get on top of those Toxotes in the back, forcing a restoration here. Meanwhile, Raid's coming over onto this position, pushing some villagers off of that location there. He's got to be careful not to lose too many of those raiding cavalry underneath the town center fire. He picks off another villager there, as the villagers are going to be retreating away, and Soup will be losing the majority of those raiding cavalry there, as now Soup retreats back here. He's got to get those raiding cavalry over onto the Toxotes. The population differential is still very, very equal here, as Nullus going to be retreating back home here. The villagers still eating all of this hunt. There's just so much hunt on this map for Soup to play with here. Medium infantry, medium archers coming through for Nullus as well. A little bit delayed, a little bit behind. It's 60 villagers for Nullus, 51 villagers for Soup. There are probably a handful of dwarves out though here. You can see 22 dwarves out, which basically means you got to divide that by 7. So 3 extra villagers here. So 56 villagers basically for Soup. So it's really, really close. We're starting to see a sentry tower coming up over here as the raiding cavalry moving up to the top side of the map. There's a town center coming up, as the town center is now up for Nullus as well. This town center is going to take quite a while, and this wall not being here, Nullus might be cheeky and start sending some straggler units over there to deal with that, as the raid's coming in onto this location, but the center is just so strong. Look at the damage, 13.2 damage a second. It does have 5.5 or 5.0 track rate. I'm not sure which one it is. As the raiding cavalry coming through here to push off of that gold mine, causing problems for Nullus, continuing to put pressure on. We do see the tower is up, so this wall is now relatively safe. Do we have that armory up anywhere? Yes, there is an armory in the main base of Soup, and he will be attempting to go to the next age. As we do see this wall, this house wall getting broken down here. 6.6 speed raiders easily going to be able to break through there. Going to be trying to dart back, continue to get the raids in. Villagers now moving over onto this gold mine over here. And Nullus here seems to be out of food already. I don't know how he's out of food already. I guess these boar here are technically speaking Nullus's boar, and maybe these caribou are Nullus's caribou. And with Soup getting a little bit more aggressive than Nullus out onto the map, he's been able to secure this extra hunt for himself, which is going to give him a huge advantage in this game, as now Soup can start thinking about going to the next stage. He's also got all of the goats left in his main base, so he's never going to have to farm in this game. Well, he will, but if the game goes long enough, but realistically, he never has to farm in this game. So what is the real plan to follow this up? Do you go Fimble Winter here for the really, really strong, Ulfsark and bravery and all the stuff that happens there with a bit of economic damage onto Nullus to boot? Or do you go Balder here and you don't click Ragnarok, trying to play for the late game with Odin against Hades? Maybe utilize Ragnarok a little bit later to get out of Titan Gate as another option. As we do see this house getting taken down, the hoplites coming over here trying to defend this one as walls coming up here for Null. It's going to be tough to get in onto those Toxotes over there as the raiding cavalry just searching through. We do see an armory coming up for Nullus. He is a little bit behind the 8-ball here in terms of his tech, but that's because he doesn't have the hunt and he's on these hurtables here. He doesn't quite have the resources to make it work. As the throw and axe able to push these units back, we do see the raiding cavalry coming through over here, can snipe some villagers down on this town center or potentially come over here and take this fight. As we do see Nullus now ready to take the fight with some hoplites coming in to defend this one, as the units pushing over here to take this one here as well. Could utilize Frost onto this position as well if he so chooses. Apollo on the way for Nullus, however, so potentially holding on to Frost here wouldn't be a bad idea, as the Toxotes are going to be attempting to retreat back. We'll see if Nullus is going to be able to get out of here, or if Suppe is going to be able to get some sort of a path blockage, as the Toxotes do manage to find their way through those raiding cavalry. Nice play there from Nullus. The Suppe town center is up right now. He needs to throw up a mark. He needs to get all of his upgrades. He's getting himself irrigation. He's got enough resources to get himself... he doesn't have any farms. Why do you have farms? I mean, he's got all the villagers on the hunt here. So the hunt is almost out. So I get it. But you've got so many hurtables here. This is one of those things that I'm 90% sure is not an efficient way to play Age of Mythology. I'm 90% sure it's better to not build farms until the very, very end of your food. Or at least until it's almost about out. I'm very, very sure, as we see a hill fort coming up. And the thing is that if he didn't put these farms down, he could have had a market, he could have had extra upgrades, he could have had more military buildings down. All of those farms there cost so much. I should stop paying attention to that, because the forest comes down, the wall's coming in. Nullus is caught out here quite significantly, as we've got heavy raiders in, we've got heavy infantry in as well for Suppe. As the throw and axeman coming through beautifully here. Do we see any more upgrades in him? He's got a decent amount of armor here as well. He's almost got the resources to go to the mythic age to boot, as we see a watchtower coming in. As Suppe, I want to believe he is setting up for Ballister here early. That's what I want to believe, as he's almost able to advance. He's got the gold mines getting mined out here beautifully. He's only got pickaxe, so he's missing that one at the moment. Definitely, it's not the biggest of deals for dwarves. I don't think it gives a huge amount of advantage for the dwarves, as the army attempting to make a breakthrough through this location. The walls are going to be getting thrown up, and they will get finished there before those thrown axemen can get out of here, as the fighting is continuing. Nullus is sitting at a very solid 144 population. You got to build the wall to the forest, Suppe. There's a stump there. It's open. Doesn't matter. It's only 5 hoplites. It's not the biggest of deals. But Suppe's still not advanced to the next stage because his market isn't up just yet, because he built these farms. And this kind of timing does matter quite a bit here, but we'll have to wait and see. So there is also only one gold mine here, so Suppe might want to try and secure this gold mine while he's winning all these fights as well. Remember, he does have safeguards, so these walls are at 1260 already. Incredibly strong as the army is fighting through here, and we see Tyr. This is a risky move, to say the very least, for Suppe. Why is it risky? Because no access to fire giants. Fire giants are vitally important in the late game for Norse. Fire Giant Ballister is the unit composition we talk about over and over again, as Suppe is trying to break through this army, but he's only got 3 military buildings here. 4 military buildings if you count the temple, 5 if you count the hill fort, on 90 villages, as we see another hill fort coming down here, as some villagers look like they were converted into Ulfsark to get this hill fort up, and Suppe is able to survive another day here. A fortress coming up. He is going to be in full defensive mode here in this game. There's no way to get a gold staff here. The trade route has started for Nullus. This gold mine over here can get secured by Nullus as well. The walls aren't up on this position. There is still access to Underworld in this game, which is going to be the hardest part of this game to deal with for Suppe. Underworld onto a back position here is going to be absolutely it's going to be really difficult to deal with. Winter Harvest coming through, Carpenters coming through, the goats getting eaten up, the villagers finishing up on all the hunt, able to jump onto wood. Suppe now starting to float tons of wood here in this game. He needs to think about starting a trade route as well. I mean, he's got plenty of gold here in the front of the fight here as Nullus is pushing through. Do we see the Thrown Axeman with Huntress Axe? No Huntress Axe, the unique upgrade that Skadi brings, which makes those Throwing Axemen so absurdly strong there. As we do see the Mythic Age for Suppe casting Fimbulwinter here, as well as the Fenris Wolves hitting this location over here, hitting the hometown center, hitting this town center, hits every part of Nullus's economy here, as Nullus is going to say, all right, just going to retreat back, wait this one out, let this happen and see how things go here in this game. Suppe needs to start making Ballaster here. It's the only option. Ballaster towers, Ballaster towers, Ballaster towers to deal with the Toxotes and deal with everything else. As you do see the units starting to dive in onto the town center over here. Masons coming through. Hephaestus about to hit Iron Shields, Huntress Axe, Flood Control coming through for Suppe, as well as the Fimbulwinter Wolves doing the damage. Nullus drops down to 134 of 160 population as the villagers popping out of the town center here to repair this one up. We do see Masons is through. This is a Hades town center. It takes a long time to kill a Hades town center. The villagers all back to what they need to do. The villagers have dropped down to 60 at this moment here, though, as Suppe, he needs to use this time to set up walls, towers. Building the Ballaster first is, generally speaking, a mistake. Generally speaking, you need to get walls up first, as we do see the Ballaster coming in. The army retreats back. Iron Shields is just about up here. Engineers is coming through as well for Suppe. As he pulls back, the Ballaster will get taken out. This Frost Giant getting taken out as well, as Suppe's got so many resources in the bank. He's not putting any pressure up onto this side of the map either, as the weirdest Plenty Vault you have ever seen gets placed down. If Suppe wants, he could send a unit over here and drop a hill fort on this position and potentially take this for himself here, as the army is continuing to push through here. Mass Toxotes, really, really difficult unit composition to deal with unless you've got 5 Ballaster. And then the Toxotes, they stop being amazing. They start getting absolutely destroyed here, as Suppe is trying to build them out. He's trying to get out as many of these as he possibly can. He does, I mean, they're just so absurdly strong. If Suppe can micro it at all, he's trying to take out the Colossus with the Ballaster, but it's not quite working here. The Frost Giants are here to counter Colossus. Colossus are not really a unit that you have to worry too much about as a Skadi using Odin player. So we do see the town center is starting to get taken down here, but still without walls. These Ballaster, not the best. There's plenty of opportunity here for Suppe to drop towers, but he's just not able to get up to supply here, up to population. He's wanting to get himself Levy Hill Fort here as well. These Ballaster do take 17 seconds to train. Levy Hill Forts gives minus 20% Huskal and Jarl training time. They don't even make siege faster, apparently. That could be a mistake. I doubt it's a mistake, but Suppe's grabbing that one in the hopes that it's going to allow him to get something more out here, as more and more units pushing through. The town center getting taken down. We've got a random Raven at the top side of the map here. Suppe is not really utilizing the advantages of Norse in this game to the best of his ability. There's an opening here. He could sneak in through here, drop buildings onto this position, take this position as well. He's got 1,800 wood in the bank that he could be using to spam buildings all over the map. Iron Mail coming through for Nullus at this point, as well as the Frost Giant coming through. This Colossus is just sitting here tanking for days here, as the Frost Giant coming through. He can't break. Wait, what is it doing? I'm not sure. Hoplites coming in to deal with this as well. And I mean, here's the thing. These hill forts aren't really helping out in this fight either, as the hill fort's doing as best as they can. Now we're starting to see Huskal and Jarls coming back out for Suppe, as he knows he needs just a little bit more units to come through, as these Toxotes, they're just getting taken out so fast. But bronze weapons, Iron Mail, Iron Shields coming through for Nullus. He's almost fully upgraded in terms of the armory. Suppe, on the other hand, he isn't close, but he doesn't really need it if he goes into Ballaster towers, because like the only thing he needs is iron weapons Actually, I don't even think you get weapons upgrades. You don't even get weapons upgrades to Ballista there. So you don't actually need any upgrades for the Ballista, as the town center is still trying to get taken down. I think Suppe, his idea here was good, but his execution is just lacking in this game, as the Frost Giants pushing through here as best as they possibly can. As more units coming in onto this position to try and deal with this, the Huskal, the Hoplites, the armor advantage for Nullus is starting to show its worth, as we do see the Frost Giant coming in, going to be able to freeze that Heliopolis for the time being. And now Nullus moves the field of battle over to the other side. We'll be able to take down a house here to cause some problems, as Nullus pushing through. Suppe's still not able to get himself out the units he needs. Honestly, just a handful of Huskal just into the hill fort, get up to 160 population, push out. He would be able to win this fight with Huskal and the Ballista and the towers sitting under this position, but he's just not able to get there just yet. Now the portable rams pushing into the main base here. We do see a whole bunch of military buildings here for Suppe training. He's got a couple of military buildings not producing units here. Suppe's now got 17 ox carts out to Nullus's 13 donkey caravans, as the portable rams are going to be taking down the towers on this position, taking down the temple, taking everything else out. You've got to be careful with taking down a Hades temple, because that does mean that the Hades shade kind of shenanigans are going to be possible here. As the unit's breaking through here, Suppe getting closer and closer to full population and an ability to actually start trimming off his villages, but he's still not got full armor upgrades here, which makes things very, very difficult here for Suppe, as the Throw and Axemen doing everything they possibly can here. Portable rams breaking in onto the hometowns, and plenty of villagers here to start shanking these down, as Nullus does decide to do that. Meanwhile, on the top side of the map here, the towers going down. Nullus has pushed through here ever so slightly in this game, as the spam war is on. Suppe, he's short gold quite a bit here at the moment. He's got tons of wood. If we take a look at the wood selling, you could sell for 26. You could also sell some food here to help him out ever so slightly, but he's just not able to win these fights just yet, especially not without having champion infantry at this point. Suppe, just after all of the booming has happened, he just hasn't managed to get the tech out that you would normally see at this point from this kind of a boom war, and Nullus is able to hold here beautifully. In fact, I think that Nullus at this point, he's got to be thinking, I'm in a great position, because he's on this gold mine. He can start setting up a trade, not even setting up an underworld. He doesn't even need an underworld. He's got all of this space here to build a fortress. And here's the thing: losing a town center as Greek and as Egyptian is not the end of the world. You can get that town center back. Losing a town center as Norse and Atlantean in the wrong moments of the game can be game ending. When you're playing Norse in Age of Mythology in the late game, the most important thing to do is make sure you wall the crap out of this town center. You make sure you've got all the buildings in position here to defend this town center from all costs. Same too for this town center. Same too for this town center. Otherwise, you will end up finding yourself losing games, as this town center getting taken down over here. Villagers coming through to try and shank down the Heliopolis on this position, as now Nullus has managed to get himself champion Toxotes here. And what is the problem here? The problem is that Suppe doesn't have enough military buildings. It's simply put, that is the problem here. He's got 4 military buildings producing here. 5? No. He's got 4 military buildings producing here. Total. He needs to have 10, 15, 20. If you take a look at Nullus's main base here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 military buildings. Sure, 10 military buildings up. Sure, it's still not enough, but it's a good amount. As now we see more Hades Shades coming in onto this position, as now Nullus is ready to start looking for some sort of an underworld play, as his Pegasus is moving across the map here. He's got 2 Pegasus out. He's got 2 Heliopoli, I should say. As more are getting produced here, the units here of Suppe just continually pushing in onto this position, and Nullus is just holding over and over again incredibly well here as the Pegasus flies in. He can go out to the main town center. He can go out to the top town center. It doesn't really matter here which one he picks. Nullus has trimmed his villagers down nicely, but Suppe has trimmed his villagers down nicely, but he just doesn't have the food income here to kind of support. Well, he does. He's got plenty of income. Income isn't the problem. Economy isn't the problem. Production is the problem. The Pegasus sitting over here waiting to click this underworld. Honestly, this gives it away to Suppe that this is potentially going to happen. Whereas he could have just sent a villager over here to build on this position. And in fact, that's exactly what Nullus is going to be doing here. 2 archery ranges and some Gastrofidi onto this position wouldn't be a bad idea. Thank you for the 100 bits there, Deadly Venom. Appreciate you, my friend. Because now we see the Baluster out. As Suppe realizes, well, he is managing to get the Baluster out. And this is a good amount of Baluster to take out these units here. As a hill fort, another hill fort coming up. Units breaking through here. Those, the Toxotes. The Toxotes just get absolutely massacred here. Once you get out enough ballast, the Toxotes are useless. But maybe it just took too long for Suppe to get these out. And look at this. Gastrofidi queued up here for Nullus. And this is what I'm talking about. If one Gastrofidi is here, just put some walls in. I mean, Nullus is going to be building these into his archery range here to take out this. Suppe does have access to a very quick Ulfsark conversion. We'll have to wait and see if that's going to work. As now Suppe finally managing to hit his population here. He's at 160 population finally. He still doesn't have all his armored upgrades as he's struggling mightily, but he's able to take down these units of Nullus really, really quickly now as more walls coming up, trying to get back in onto this town center. As the Gastrofidi are out, Suppe not paying attention here. He needs to sort this out immediately. As he's focused fully on this fight, running out of gold on this position, moving over onto this gold mine here as a risky move, but obviously it's going to protect his Baluster a little bit by having the path blocking there, as we do see some Ulfsark coming in here to try and deal with these Gastrofidi as they are going to be retreating away. We'll see what Suppe is going to do. Suppe does have himself Safeguard, which gives an extra 280. Wait, does it? It doesn't give anything. Why does it say minus 280 plus 280? Obviously because it maybe gave an advantage before. Okay. Plus 700 HP on the fortified towns plus masons. Doesn't quite yet have access to his architects, but he needs something else on this position. And in that moment, Suppe decides to tap out. What happened? He's not lost here in this game. He's obviously not lost in this game. Oh, what a disappointing end. He's even got the Baluster out. He's got the Baluster out in a really good position. He's setting up over here. Yes, this is tough to push through, but he will be able to push through. Obviously, there's also going to be the threat of Underworld throughout the entirety of the game. So that's always going to be a problem for him. But you've got to put buildings up and everything. So disappointing. Oh, well. One day, Norse will be able to win the late game. This thing here that Suppe tried to do, don't get me wrong. This play, I liked it from Suppe. From the get-go, I was like, Heimdall doesn't make a whole lot of sense. You really do want to get yourself access to... Thundering Hooves. It's vitally important to deal with the Hypaspist. But in a booming game, and Suppe opted for this, Heimdall makes a lot more sense. Stronger towers, stronger walls with Safeguard. And then the other thing that kind of didn't make a whole lot of sense to me was Balder. Why not Balder here? If he went Balder, he would have had Fire Giants. He doesn't have to click Rag until much, much later. The idea of like a late game Rag with the idea of building your Titan out and having a really strong trade route, because there was no possibility for Nullus to make a push that forces Ragnarok out of Suppe here. So he could have just held onto it until he has 100 villagers, until he has 2,000 food, 2,000 wood, 2,000 gold, and then he can cast the Rag. He can set the towers up with his Heimdall everywhere, and he can utilize the Ballista Fire Giant like he wanted to. Alternatively, with this Fimbulwinter play, had instead of him like trying to take this town center down, he just puts wall, couple of towers down as well, Ballista start coming out, and he takes his time with the push. I don't think that Nullus can survive here. But Nullus, he plays the defensive game perfectly here, and he manages to survive against all of the aggression. If you guys enjoyed this game, please consider hitting the follow on the Twitch. If you guys are on the YouTubes, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next game.